Evening, everybody. How we doing? How we doing? So today was a no trade day for me. So no trades taken. I actually saw two opportunities and I let them go. I let them play out because to me, it didn't look convincing enough. You could interpret it as hesitating on my entry. Um, you could interpret it as being influenced by what happened yesterday, which was just like a DLL day, and that's fine too, right? Either way, I feel like it's valid. So I kind of want to take a day just of no trades. So even if you're looking at the charts, just don't take any trades. Um, I feel like it's valid, but in my eyes, I kind of hesitated on that first entry because it kind of looked good, but I hadn't. I feel like I hadn't built enough conviction on the trade direction for me to be willing to take the trade. So coming into the day, it looked kind of weird. Like this price action just looks kind of weird to me. Um, I don't know what it was. It looked weird, right? Um, if you zoom in on the hourly, you could see London traded into these couple of hourly gaps, and we were respecting them. Same thing on ES. So we London high is technically an intermediate high. Asia high is also another intermediate high. So we're respecting bearish gaps as we're approaching previous week's low and this other weekly low that's all the way back here. If it'll load, it's taking its sweet time. There we go. So this low over here was kind of like my final draw. I could see this if I think we did end up sweeping this, but what I was thinking is if we like displace through it, I could see us revisit previous month's low. Well, that's actually not precise because that's October's. Yeah, it is previous month's low. Sorry, I had a brain lag there, but yeah, basically, bear kind of. I had pretty much a neutral bias going today. Not gonna lie, I feel like I should have been more open to shorts to kind of see that clear direction until we saw any high time from draws get hit. Previous week's low was already hit before that, but I was just deciding to keep it on the chart to see if we're accepting value under it. Um, and then London low was tagged, I think, off open, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we were respecting this gap. I actually hadn't marked it out because I figured, well, it's already been filled. I'm gonna just mark out London high that's inside of it. But yeah, you decided to not mark it out, and then scaling in on the 5 minute right before open, it was just very choppy, right? Very choppy. And if you look at a volume profile for the session, just from like session reopen, if it'll load, I don't know why today's being freaking slow as heck, but yeah. This volume profile is not telling us much. Technically, there's low volume up here, better low volume up here, but yeah. Um, and basically this was a 5 minute opening candle, kind of wacky. Not really clear direction from there. I was locked out till 9:45, so good thing because this was something else for sure. But if you zoom in here, you'll notice, right? Both ES and NQ trade into this resistance zone, which is those couple of hourly gaps. I did not notice that in the moment because I hadn't marked them out. I marked them out later in the session. But right off open, I hadn't marked them out. I had not marked them out just yet. So yeah, we also have our VWAP. It's still, you know, not a lot of data still, but yeah, this actually ended up happening there. I think, yeah. So we formed a 3 minute gap, and I want to point this out because it's the only confluence that I saw that could validate the trade idea other than the VWAPs. So if you look at a 5 minute, it looks like we tried breaking through the overnight VWAP 3 times. So 1, 2, 3 times. For the load, there we go. So yeah, 3 times where we tried breaking the overnight VWAP and we just failed to do so. And then if you scale into the 3 minute, we trade into this and reject immediately. And I think I took a screenshot of the book map and the tick chart, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe this is today. Yeah, this is today. So it was very quick. You would have had to be very quick to get this entry, like to get the best possible entry. One of the things that made me hesitate on it, so this is a tick chart break after the retest of VWAP, was the fact that it was a very tight stop. Like it was like a 30-point stop or something like that. 32-point stop, I think. And this is what I was seeing on Bookmap. So the framing was basically, okay, we respected overnight VWAP and we actually invalidated a bullish low volume node, right? And so this, I saw it as a internal bullish low volume node. We ended up trading towards it, failed to hold VWAP there. Try to get above it again, failed again. Try to get above it, failed again. And then we retest it, fail, and we finally get through the entirety of that low volume node. And we end up creating this high volume node. I think it was already there. But yeah, it just adds more volume to that. And we kind of retest that high volume node as well as the VWAP. We see buyers showing up there. There was actually a bit of a CVD divergence. If you look at the high here and the CVD high, right? We make a higher high on the CVD. It's not that big of a difference, but it is clearly a lower high in price, right? So technically a CVD divergence is there. That if I feel like if I noticed that in the moment, I would have been way more confident in the trade and probably taken it. But I just didn't think of it. I feel like another thing that made me not want to trade was the fact that I woke up a bit late. So I was really tired and almost like kind of rushed to get on the charts to be on time. So the entry was ideally 24,706.25, right? 706.25. So it's not even like, it's like a little below 76.25. Your stop would be at this high, right? So 32-point stop. All right. Maybe put it like a couple points above. Maybe you want to do just a fixed amount. You want to do 35 points. I feel like that's also valid. And you would just target London lows all the way down here. That's nearly a 3R. Maybe you target London lows and then leave runners for the support zone. Maybe you want to be even greedier and freaking target that weekly low, but that's a massive target, nearly a 300-point move. So maybe you're starting London low. I feel like, because when I was looking at the trade idea, that's what I was looking at. And yeah, this 3-minute bar just pretty much gave you the target right off the bat. So this was the trade idea. We respected overnight VWAP and validated bullish internal low volume node. Retested the 3-minute FVG as well as that inverse low volume node, if you want to call it that, or you could just see this as we're retesting a high volume node or the POC of the session, because that's what it looked like at the moment on the volume profile. And saw fail buying followed by a tick chart break. So pretty solid, except for the fact that I don't think I yeah, I feel like it's iffy using the 3-minute for me, right? Because I feel like I've been using the 5 and 50-minute pretty well, and just basing my trades off of that. But I feel like the 3-minute could be. It's something that I do keep in mind. I just haven't been paying that much attention to it because I feel like it adds to the noise. But if I just hop between time frames more often, I can pull it off. I've done that in the past, done well for a bit, and then yeah, when I restricted myself to the 3 minute being lower, I did pretty well. So might be time to bring back the 3 minutes since volatility is back. So you want to be, this is an entry that you might not have seen on the 5 minute. On the 5 minute, it just looked like we retested VWAP. It barely looked like retesting New York VWAP on the 5 minute. On the 3 minute, it looks a bit more clear. Obviously, you can use Bookmap for that as well to make it easier on you. And then, after this, I just kind of waited, right? I decided to let it play out. I'm like, you know what? I already hesitated on the entry. I'm not going to FOMO in. I feel like that was the only opportunity price gave for that entry specifically. Like, it got the single retest and then dumped. But yeah. And then this box down here is the next trade. I feel like it's pretty valid for me not to take it, and I'll explain why here in a second. There we go. I think it happens here in a second. Okay, so two things that made me not want to take this short is the fact that we got really close to session lows and got a very strong reaction off it. That's what it looked like to me. On Bookmap, it looked like strong buyers were there. And this is a support zone. It's an old new week opening gap, which we've respected in the past twice. So to me, this didn't look good enough for a trade. So I figured I'm not going to take it. My target was that weekly low. I just feel like if I actually got an entry before getting to that support zone, then I would have been more open to trade that. But it's the fact that we're in that support zone getting good. It looks like a good reaction off of it. So I figured we could have a pretty strong reaction off of this. And I saw we were actually, because I had time to think about it, because I saw this retest on Bookmap. We retested VWAP twice, and we actually put in another CVD divergence where we made a high, a lower high, and then our CVD was clearly heading higher. So to me, this just looked like sellers were continuously absorbing orders, and as soon as aggressive sellers would step in, this would just immediately dump. So I think this did end up happening a little after the screenshot. But the trade idea was probably on the next 5 minute candle wick. So I think it was like, I can't remember if I would looked at an entry or if I just went off of this. But say you got this entry, right, and you were just targeting this weekly low down here, which is at 410. That's the ideal entry. Still solid letter R, 2.5, nearly 2.49, same thing. This worked out pretty well. If I remember correctly, this took a while for it to hit. But yeah, I just kind of left the position tool on there and let it play out. And there we go, target hit. This you would have entered at 10:25, exited at nearly half an hour long trade. That other trade would have taken you, so it happened at 9:45, 1, 2, so like 6 minutes. One very short trade, one a bit of a longer holding time type of trade. I feel like both of these trades were valid. The first one, I just hesitated on the entry. I just wasn't convinced by the trade idea. And I hesitated on the entry. So I feel like if I'm convinced on the trade idea, I won't hesitate on the entry. And then this trade, I was sketched out by the fact that we reached the support zone and we were kind of reacting from it. So, yeah. Both of these trades, they're technically coming off of that 1 hour gap, but it's not like you have an immediate high time frame confluence. This one right here, the 3 minute thing, yeah, because it's closer to, like, in time wise, it's closer to when we got this reaction from that gap. I just didn't realize it in the moment. So yeah, I feel like they both had really good framing. They had a high time frame confluence. It was following momentum. They had a medium time frame confluence. The first one it's that the overnight VWAP. The second one it's I believe it's actually a 15-minute gap. Um, so they both had really good framing. Um, yeah, I just was not convinced. I was trying to be more neutral. I feel like I had a little bit of PTSD from yesterday from hitting DLL, not having like, you know, neutral direction. Yeah, there's just type of days where having clear direction is gonna do you well, and then being neutral is gonna do you well as well. So it's just, I believe it's a matter of flexibility, kind of wanting to see clear direction and being willing to accept when you're wrong. So being quick to accept, okay, I'm wrong on this. Let me, like, kind of. It's like having a clear direction and then kind of having the back of your head, like in the back of your mind, like if I'm wrong, it's because of this, and that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, two good trades that I decided to let go, and they were both pretty solid trades. Like now that I'm looking at them at the beginning, I feel like I wanted to convince myself, like, oh, not optimal conditions. Like, come on. The first trade, high time for confluence, the 1 hour for value ups, respected in London, retested them again in New York. Respected overnight VWAP, so that's your medium time for confluence. Clear direction, so a clear target, which is London low. And then lower time from confluence is that 3-minute fair value gap, along with that low volume node, along with the high volume node, or inverse low volume node / high volume node, 3-minute gap, New York VWAP. Failed buying tech chart break. A lot of confluences on there. And then the other one, the next one, high time frame confluence, same thing, the 1 hour gap, towards a clear target, that weekly low. And then medium time frame confluence, I believe it's a 15-minute. I can be wrong on this. Yeah, 15-minute right here. Yeah, 50-minute right there. So this, yeah, this actually ended up playing out pretty nicely about that 15-minute gap. So high time frame, 1 hour, medium time frame, 15-minute, lower time frame, VWAP, Fib level, failed buying, double retest of VWAP, and you could probably spot it. I think the tick chart wasn't as clean, that's why I don't have a screenshot of it, but yeah. Even if you just waited for the kind of closure, you still would have gotten a pretty solid RR. Like, just waiting for that kind of closure. That's a 2R. That's a 2 freaking R. And if you go for, like, fib extensions of the IB, you could also play that as well. So you could go for the 0.1, which is pretty solid in terms of probabilities. 2.3, like a little bit, just squeezing a bit more profit off it. So, yeah, because I'm pretty sure this ended up reversing after this. If it'll load. Yeah, there we go. So, if you didn't go break even, this would have stopped you out. If you won't break even, this would have stopped you out at break even. So, and if we look at our fibs, yeah. And then I think after this, I think there was a play off of the 618. We were stalling out there. Started to look good, and I think somewhere around 12:35, we got Nvidia news, and we just started ripping higher. So I don't know what's going on with this. That's being insanely slow. But that pretty much wraps it up for today. I want to say it was a pretty solid day of price action, and I failed to take advantage of it, and I will learn from these trades as to why it was a good trading day. Yeah. Just, you know. Woo! Yeah. Yeah. Whew. Just saw their trades, and I just didn't take them. Sorry about that. I had to cut off there for a second. I had to help my mom with phone issues, but Instagram just being stupid. Crazy stuff on there. But yeah, anyways, to pretty much summarize today, watched two pretty solid setups play out right in front of my eyes with clear targets, and I just decided to not take them. It is what it is. So yeah. I feel like that's all I can say really. There's not much to say other than that. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate you. And yeah, after today, all we can do is try our best to find good setups and take them if they're there. So right now, kind of looks like rangy conditions. But yeah, I feel like this would not have happened if Trump hadn't tweeted that. Obviously, right? It's pretty obvious that it would not have. This move like this would not have happened if Trump didn't tweet something. So he's back at it again, tweeting stuff whenever he feels like it. But no trades. Yeah, hopefully I'll catch y'all tomorrow. We have Nvidia earnings after the close. Might be choppy. Might be a choppy day as we wait for Nvidia earnings. I believe there's also news on Thursday. Pretty heavy news. So yeah, might be choppy type of day considering we have Nvidia earnings after the close and then heavy news the day after. So we will try our best to find good setups and take them if they present themselves. Just be patient enough to wait for them to actually present themselves. So yeah, hopefully I'll catch y'all tomorrow, if not the day after that, with a banger trade. Alright y'all, thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.